Inject that energy into my veins. It is Take Flight Talk. We talking New York Jets. You already know what it is, okay? No, I'm not on the track. That's a professional singer on there. It's your boy James Wudi. We already know NY Jets. Michael K in the building, and we got Abby as well. And it's a brand new day because Steve Wilks has been gone. He has been fired, handed the pink slip, and I think this is something that we all saw coming. Probably not right now, but we saw it coming. Michael, let's start with you, and your reaction to the news.
Oh, I liked it a lot. Obviously, I thought personally I would have waited until the end of the year, but I could see the idea of getting him gone for the next 3 weeks because I think the big question is obviously is it a player issue or is it a scheme issue, and I think it's a little bit of both. But I think the next 3 weeks will tell us the most about is it like which players are we going to bring back next year that can actually go fit a new system. But just from watching it, I think like I made a video today. I think Steve Wilkes had one of the worst defensive schemes that I've watched in my 21 years of football. Like there's no disguising, and it's like I'm looking at. I played Division III football. Like that's the lowest you can go in college, and I still see a disguised blitz here and there where the linebacker might bluff or something. We're the NFL New York Jets, and there was no disguising. There's no D line stuff. Like it was the most predictable defense that I've ever seen. And the thing I said in my video is, our play action defense is the worst I've ever watched in my own eyes. So that is something that I know Sherwood and Quincy Williams have been horrible in coverage, and I know that's probably a lot more on them. But I do think scheme has something to do with it. So me personally, I'm very happy that he's gone, and I do think that hopefully a new face. I know right now it's Chris Harris, but I do think a new DC will come in next year. So I do think it was the right move, and I think it's really important that Glenn made that decision because that does show that he's taking accountability. That wasn't the right hire at the moment, wasn't the right hire now. So I'm happy to see that he, finally moved on from it.
I mean, because Rudy, I think you and I were on the same page about the hiring initially, if I'm correct. Michael, were you like on board with when he got hired to begin
Yeah,
with?
when he first got hired, it was more of I knew who he was, and I didn't think he was the greatest, but it was more of like an optimism thing where I was like, maybe Glenn could work with him. One of those things.
Yeah, I mean, well, my big thing about Steve was that he had head coaching experience, so it was something where I was really upset that the Jets chose another first time head coach. But you got Steve Wilks, to kind of show him the ropes and all that stuff. I was not expecting a lockdown defense, or like I knew for a fact our defense was going to take a step back. I was not expecting the defense to moonwalk back. Like they literally like just moonwalk all the way back. So I was not expecting that, but I was expecting a step back defensively. But I thought Steve Wilks was going to help AG so that he didn't have to worry about the defense. Like let him worry about head coach things. And yeah, that wasn't the case.
Yeah, and I was on board when he got hired simply because I'm like, oh, I wanted someone who was a veteran because, again, first time head coach, first time GM. I also knew his track record, you know what I mean? He's been one and done like several places, but I was like, all right, well, his defense won't be as bad. I think it's safe to say I didn't think our defense was going to be as bad. I thought we were going to take a step back and be mid, but no, now we're at the bottom, the lowest of the low. And it's honestly like so disheartening to see the defense be like that because we got so used to them being like top 10 for like all these years. Not that it really had allowed us to have like a winning record. But no, and Michael, I'm with you. Like, I thought if you're trying to like get the best draft pick, you should have just left him here till the end of the year. You know what I mean? And I'm like, it wasn't going to hurt, but whatever. Either way, the end result was going to be the same. He was going to be gone. And for me, I mean, this was stuff. He was on the hot seat like week 3, week 4. And then it kind of died a little. I'm like, all right, your seat's warm. And then it came up like again with when we saw Bengals, Miami. I'm like, now you're back on the hot seat. And now I am just done because you're consistently allowing like 30 plus points a game. This defense allowing 30 plus points a game. They can't stop nothing for the life of them. No The run defense is atrocious. And then like what's his name? Trevor Lawrence looked like an Pro Bowler yesterday, and I'm like, what the hell? 5 TDs? You gotta be kidding me. And even the announcers were like, you can see that Trevor Lawrence he's not the best quarterback in the league, but he was up there and he knew exactly what our defense was doing, and he would change the play right at the line. And I'm just like, dude, you're again, Michael, you said it. Like you're not disguising anything. All the teams know what you're doing, and so it's honestly yesterday was frustrating. Like Swiss cheese couldn't stop anything. I knew after the first drive the game was really over. And what's sad is like the offense didn't look like as bad. I know stats it didn't look that great. And the thing is, I wasn't expecting a lot, but it looked better than last week. And I was like, okay, like we're kind of working with something. Had the defense had gotten a stop a couple of times, we would have been right back in this game. But the thing is, they just scored on every single thing, and then it just got too far ahead of us. So I don't know. Yesterday was frustrating. Just beyond frustrating. Another game. It felt like it's over 5 minutes in the game.
Damn. I mean, shout out Brady Cook, right? He was 6 for 6, 51 yards and a touchdown, 14-7. You know, that's not a blowout whatsoever. But yeah, the defense just, it's just a marathon that we can't keep up with. But Abby, you said something that I think we all need to discuss. I'm gonna throw it back to you. Actually, I'm gonna throw it back to you because you said if we wanted a better draft pick, we could have kept Steve Wilks in there with his ABC hooked on phonics defense, and just climb up that draft board. Is that how are you guys feeling with the draft? I know we all went on this show. I believe this show, Take Flight Talk, and we said, we try to win out. F them picks. Now we got 3 games left. Are we effing? Where are we at?
Literally, someone brought that up on my video today. They were like, I thought it was F them picks. And I stand 10 toes down on that. I'm still not for the tank. And like, even yesterday, Zach Rosenblatt tweeted out that a lot of the defensive guys like Jermaine Johnson and Quincy didn't want to talk to the media. That's what I kept saying. I'm like, players don't tank, okay? So they're disheartened. You know what I mean? They're still giving their all out there. They're fresh. They wouldn't be frustrated if they didn't care. You know what I mean? But with that being said, am I going to be upset and throw a fit if like we get a better draft pick? No, like I'm fine that we moved from 7 to 5. I'm glad, I'm not rooting on anyone's downfall, but I'm paying attention to Indy and I'm like, all right, that little, what is it, 17, 18? I'm like, all right, I can rock with that. But, I still want them to like, the thing is there's these next couple of games, well, the Saints coming up this week, still a winnable game. I expect them to still maybe win, although the Saints, they are playing hard. They are like a frisky like team right now, and it's like I don't know what to expect. Obviously, they're playing at home as well, but for me, I'm still not with the tank, but I'm not. Who would like argue if we got a better draft pick? No one. And so again, that's where I stand. I don't know where you're at, Michael, but I still want to see this team do something the last 3 games, because then we have months where we don't see no New York Jets football. So
yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat, I guess. Like I was never on board with the whole tanking, especially with a first-year head coach, because I think our situation is a lot different because the Jets are a losing organization. Like that's just the facts. So when you're looking at the idea of the whole tanking thing with a new regime, like Glenn is trying to preach these things like accountability, physicality, all these things. But you want to see that. Like there's games where I've seen it, but he even admitted to it. Like we've taken a step back as a team, as an organization, as a program. Like these last 3 weeks, they've not been pretty. And it's like now these next 3 weeks after you fire the DC, I want to see something. Like I want to end the year on something where I can carry my head going into next year where, all right, I trust Glenn. These specific guys are going to be back because they're buying in what Glenn's saying. Like, I think realistically, I want to at least get to 5 wins. I know that's crazy, but I don't want to be worse than last year, obviously. And I think there's a chance the Colts lose out. So I think our Colt pick could be like 15 to 18, which I think is a great first round pick. And even with ours, even if we get to 5 wins, 4 wins, we're not falling out of the top 10. So we have the future assets to trade up if we need to. Like, we could easily go get a guy like Mendoza. Now, I don't personally think that I would be willing to give up the future assets to trade up for someone like Mendoza, but we have all the resources available. So I'm definitely not on board with, lose out just to get a better draft pick. Like, I do want to see, if we can go out there, because like you said, the Saints the Saints look good. They beat the Buccaneers. They've been competing. They're playing hard. They're one of the bottom teams in the league, and they're still playing hard for their coach and everything. So that's something I want to see with the Jets, especially, the fact that Glenn just fired Wilks. Like, that's a lot of pressure on a head coach, obviously. So I would love to see the players come out next week motivated. Those little things that we talk about add up and actually, show up on film finally.
I mean, Woody, before you share your thoughts too, but like, this was like going into the season, the Saints was a winnable game. They're a team that's in our league that we can be competitive with. So I still have those expectations, to be really honest. So, Woody, I'm interested to hear your thoughts though.
Well, this is such a boring show. We all agree. What's the point in watching? I mean, yeah, I'm definitely not trying to tank. Here's the thing about Fernando Mendoza. I think he actually would be a really solid fit culture-wise for the New York Jets. I feel like he's an underdog. Only had the one offer coming out of high school, had to work his way, games at Cal. Now Indiana got Indiana winning games, matchups that they haven't won in like 60 years. Like, he is an underdog. I think he can take the New York media, the criticism and all that type of stuff. And I think he's passionate about the game. That's something that, in my personal opinion, we haven't seen his level of passion since my guy, Seattle Seahawks quarterback Sam Darnold. Zach, you cannot convince me that Zach was like, eat, breathe, sleep football. Like, nah, he was eat, breathe, sleep MILFs, but like he was not, on the X's and O's football like that. But Fernando he's very passionate, crying after the games. Like, I think that this is somebody who could potentially, and this is gonna sound crazy, but when you like look at the numbers, like, it's really not. He could be like the best Jets quarterback of all time. Like, have a 4,000-yard season, which we haven't seen since Joe Namath. Like, we could see like 20 consecutive 20-yard, 20 touchdown seasons, stuff like that. But like, like, he is the only QB standing right now. Like, this is like the classic bar situation. I'm gonna go out, get myself a 10, 130 roll around. Ooh, that 4, only person here. Okay, we don't talk about. That's what I'm saying. Like, like, that's like, and I'm not trying to disrespect Mendoza, but that is literally the situation that we're in right now. All the guy Lenore Sellers, he's saying he didn't look, good. Ty Simpson, looked good for a little bit, fell off. Like, there's not even anyone in his stratosphere right now. So I feel like for Jets fans, knowing the off the field stuff and the fact that he's the only person there, they are head over heels. They all fail for Fernando. That's what I'm hearing. Fail for Fernando. Hopefully the Jets are taking their QB search a little bit more seriously than they did this past offseason. And if that is the case and they don't feel like Fernando's their guy, I would love a win out. Why? Because we face the Patriots, we face the Bills. It's such a loser's mentality to just say, let's like lose out and get a better draft pick. To Abby's point, if that happens, like, I'm not gonna be sick. Like, damn, we picked third. What the? Like, I'm not gonna be mad. But the goal for each week should be to whoop the ass of the opponent. And like, we've seen that. We could have been in the playoffs 10 years ago. Ryan Fitzpatrick at the helm. The Bills had nothing to play for. But what was it? They wanted to spoil our playoff run. And that's exactly what they did. Let us do that. The Patriots are trying to get home field advantage for all the playoffs. They, battling with the Broncos. Let us just smack that chance right out of their hands. Josh Allen, smack him for no reason. Like that, like I want to have an identity and just this loser mentality of, oh, we're eliminated, let's just lose out. We do that every year. And you're still not seeing that. Like we're not getting the same, we're not getting any results. Like we need to actually win games. There's no reason to root against your team. We need to win games. We've been losing out year after year after year after year after year, and we still look like clowns when we wear the green and white because we haven't made the playoffs. So let's try to win. Let's try to win games. That's my 2 cents.
I think my biggest thing on it was like obviously, well, first off, we don't want to like. I think tanking's horrible for a culture atmosphere. But the biggest thing, Woody, we talked about last episode was like the divisional record as a first year head coach. Like that's the big matchups. Like you're looking at the Bills, you're looking at the Patriots, you're looking at the Dolphins. Like first year coaches, you want to see how they perform. Like I know a lot of Bear fans right now aren't happy with the way that the Bears have looked like in their divisional games with the Lions, Vikings, like all the Packers, obviously. So like that's a big thing when you're assessing a first year head coach because those games can honestly make or break when you're building a culture. Like, you know, that's what fans cling on to. Like those are the games that matter the most. And we've looked horrible this year in our divisional games. Like we let the Dolphins stomp on us, and the Dolphins are not that good of a team. And now all of a sudden they're hot, but you know they haven't played the best team, so we'll see how they do tonight. But that would be a huge thing. Like if we could take anything from this season, right? Like this has been I think I texted it to you. Like it's a season to forget, right? Like I don't want like this is a really bad year. I think like statistically this might be like one of the worst Jet teams in NFL history, like in Jets history. So like it's obviously you want to forget about it, but if we could somehow go out there and spoil like the Patriots clinching home field advantage or spoil the Bills' chance to win the division, like just something like that to just grab and go into the offseason where it's like you guys had 3 wins, you just fired your DC, you had nothing to play for, and Glenn still got the guys rallied together, and you went out and beat one of the best teams in the AFC. Like that's something that might not look the biggest to people outside of Jet fans, but that is something that I think we have not seen in a while that would give us, you know, just something to grab onto. So I think it's really important that, you know, in a world that we beat the Bills and Patriots somehow in these next 3 weeks, I don't know if that's possible. But if we go out there and win one of them, just I know 1-5 is horrible for your first year, but just the like circumstances around it and where we stand as a team with all the injuries and everything, I think personally I would be really happy with that.
So I don't want to go 0-6. Like that's because the thing is, all those games we have not been competitive, like at all. It's been just like blowouts, and what pisses me off is like again, Michael, you said Miami's not that great of a team. They're getting on a little groove right now, you know what I mean? But I feel like that's how it always is with Miami, you know what I mean? But like the rest of the games, I mean, Buffalo blew us out. The Patriots, it was okay, and then they blew us out in the half, you know what I mean? But it's like we do still have a little something to play for, and I'm sorry, like pride, I guess, you know what I mean? I don't like seeing these players that we love, like Jermaine Johnson and Quincy and some of these young guys. I don't like seeing them feel like, you know, SHIT at the end of the game and not wanting to talk to the media and all of that. I don't like seeing, because JJ's beloved here. You know what I mean? We love him, and see him like that down. I don't like that. So I'm all for like spoiling it here too. And like I said, I thought the Saints coming in the season was a winnable game. I still expect them to win. The other two, maybe not so much, but I expect us to win the games I thought we were going to win prior to the season started. So what a frustrating season it has been. It's been, I mean, that lingering stat of the turnover and interception just hanging over us. I literally can't believe it, and I feel like it literally needs to be studied. But to the defense's like defense a little, they are really banged up, really bad. Like AZ Thomas is now on IR and things like that, so we won't be seeing him. However, I'm going to say one more thing too. The player that got ejected from the game yesterday, like that just showed how out of control this defense was, and Wilks was just running like a circus show over there. I get sometimes being chippy and things like that, but like, dude, I don't think he knew it was a ref, but dude hit a ref. You know what I mean? Like, chill. And I just feel like that was like kind of the last straw for me with the defense yesterday. Clearly, you have no handle on the defense for this team, and like even yesterday, everyone seemed to be getting injured as well during the game. And I was like, all right, it's just progressively getting worse as we move through like each quarter. So I'm just exhausted. I'm exhausted.
I I definitely hear that. Um, damn, I had a point that we probably gonna get our first pick this game just without Steve. I feel like that's what always happens. Like, oh, we fire the coach or whatever happens, and now you see guys getting picks. But great point. Obviously, like a lot of guys on our, Brownlee, AZ, we lost Cisco early. Obviously, traded 3 starters. I mean, but when they were healthy, Steve Wilks was also ass. Like, like that's the only reason why I can't even like I can acknowledge it, but like, nah, you still suck. Like that's how I feel with Wilks. But we are we are a dying breed because, like I said, all the people I'm seeing in the media, it's failed for Fernando's season. You know what I'm saying? But for us three, it's cool to see. We're pretty much on similar pages of let's spoil, let's spoil, let's see some improvement. Michael had a great point. Like you fired, like AG, you fired Steve Wilks. Okay, let me see what you can do. Like in the, come on now. You still got ingredients. You fired the chef. Now let's see what you cooking. So definitely we'll see what happens. But if we do end up getting a high draft pick, no one's gonna be crying. No Kleenex over here. But that was a riveting episode of Take Flight Talk. Oh, shout out to Sharon, biggest fan of Take Flight Talk. She said Steve Wilks Booth out here got assassinated by the New York Jets.
That's actually hilarious.
Yeah. I told her, I commented on her comment. I said, I got to use that like the rest of the week. Steve Wilks Booth. So, RIP to him. And hey, Take Flight Talk. Catch us.
RIP to him and RIP to me and you's Jets gear, apparently. Because that's the only one with anything on. I'm in Suns mode.
I had to whip the Jets hat out real quick. My other beanie's getting worn out, so this is the new one.
Hey,
that was a nice one though.
That is a nice one. Yeah. I don't even know her mind's at. I can't even because not yesterday, 2 days ago, I was all jetted out and I was getting roasted at the grocery store. Like I was at self checkout, and they were like, "Oh, Jet fan, like damn, like rough year for you." And like Panthers fans are kind of hype right now. Like they number one. I think they're number one in the division right now, so they feeling good. They loving life. So I couldn't even like clap back. Like 2 years ago, I'm clapping back. Like, yo, you suck. Like, but now it's just like, oh yeah, I stink. Like, so I was like, all right, let's take a break. We're just gonna wear no brand name, no nothing, no brands. I'm chilling right now. But catch us if you're watching this show. We don't have a set day, but surprise, we just pop up. We like a pop quiz, all right? We come up and always great times, always the theme song. I just be bopping to it, and we always got the fire takes. Take Flight Talk. Holla at you guys and girls and guys.